Coming to you live from Linden in Johannesburg. This is Sport On. This is the show that quenches your thirst every weekend, and we will be talking to you about everything that is happening in the news with regards to sports, and we will be talking about events that have happened and events that are coming through. Coming on tonight on the show, we are keeping with the theme of Women's Month, and we'll be talking to rugby players from the Springboks women's team, as well as a cricket player from the Proteas women's team. South Africa, my name is Benjamin Leshoro. And this is Sport On. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will be taking you through everything that you need to know in as far as sport is concerned. And we start actually with news making headlines in as far as what has been happening. And we start with football this time around. Maritzburg United coach Eric Tinkler says his side deserved to get more than 1 point after a great showing in a game where they settled for the spoils with Highlands Park. The team of choice was held to a 1-1 draw at home by the Lions of the North. The result leaves the two teams in the bottom half of the league standings, having failed to win in their first two matches of the 2019-2020 season.
Feel for the boys, I think they deserved a lot more than what they got tonight. Right at the death, unfortunately. Like I said, they always play with a high intensity. Owen works a lot, obviously, on their conditioning, and we knew that they're going to continue coming at us, and that, they would try and capitalize on a mistake. And I spoke about the second ball. We didn't deal with the second ball, and it fell. And unfortunately, we ended up, conceding that goal and only getting a point out of this, But I think overall, I thought we deserved the 3 points. I thought we were the better team on the night.
Well, Coach Eric Tinkler, they say they deserved the 3 points. I don't know about that, but they certainly would have liked all 3 points. Remember, they survived relegation last season by the skin of their teeth, having to go through the playoffs, and it was heartache after heartache for people in Maritzburg, but they survived. We'll see how they do this season. Staying with the Absa Premiership, Kaizer Chiefs coach Ernst Middendorp says history won't matter when they take on Black Leopards in Durban tonight. The Glamour Boys will host the Ridoda Duba at their home away from home at Moses Mabhida Stadium, where they have a good track record. Chiefs have FNB registered as their primary venue, but take several fixtures to KZN for the fans.
Tembisa was not a happy hunting ground. The first game since 2014 was not a happy event for Kaizer Chiefs. Therefore, let's not continue and talk about the past. You don't win anything with heroes, you don't win anything with history, and let's stick together to today. Today is a day where we are preparing the next game against Black Leopards, and it doesn't matter where it is and if it is a hunting ground or not. We have to be prepared for this fight going in, and I repeat it, with a certain competitive attitude from the first to the last second, and that's the basic for showing good performance and then hopefully having the result.
Kaizer Chiefs fans have not been happy with the team at all. Even that win in their first game against Highlands Park last week was not really convincing, the 3-2 win at the Makhulon Stadium out in Tembisa. But we'll see how they fare tonight against Black Leopards, and I know all the Kaizer Chiefs fans that I know will be crossing their fingers for tonight's game. Now, further afield, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says Norwich showed character against his Chargers despite losing yesterday. The Reds opened their Premier League campaign with a massive 4-1 win at Anfield.
If you are surprised that Norwich uses little moments for being dangerous as well, I'm not. That's how they are. It's really, really good, and still for 60 minutes we did what we had to do. Could have scored more, especially after half time, so that would, maybe then impress the opponent a bit more. So they were not really fussed about the result. They stayed cheeky, they stayed lively, they did what they wanted to do, they played, they changed offensively. I have to say, biggest respect for what Daniel is doing there with the boys. Very interesting and exciting team.
Now, let me tell you what happened in that game. The first goal for Liverpool was actually an own goal by Norwich. Liverpool can beat you. They don't need any help. beating you. Imagine scoring the first goal for them. And they have Mo Salah, they have Divock Origi, they have Sadio Mane, they have Bobby Firmino in their ranks. So you don't need to help them, as was proven last night. So Norwich are going to have problems if they keep doing that. And they have Man City and Chelsea inside their first 5 games of the season. Yeah, I smell trouble there. Now, let's go to rugby now. The Springboks go in search of their first Rugby Championship crown when they take on Argentina in Salta tonight. SA are sitting pretty at the top of the standings thanks to a bonus point win against Australia in their opening weekend.
The Springboks are fully aware of the huge challenge that awaits them as they are set to face a confident Argentina side in front of a passionate Salta crowd. SA have a 1-point advantage on the log table, and a bonus point win could land them the title for the first time since 2009.
Winning the Rugby Championship will give us a lot of belief. But then again, you always have a next game next weekend in Pretoria again where you can pick up some momentum. I guess the most important thing is, and it's probably something that one say a lot and it becomes a little bit of a cliche, but you know, we weren't great at the lineouts last weekend. You know, our scrums were pretty good when this front row came on, so we'd like to keep on doing that. I thought we were pretty good on our defense. Now, so I think if we improve on all the different facets of the game, you know, that's the only way we will actually, at the end of the day, win the game. And that's how we will, at the end of the day, win the championships.
Head coach Rassie Rasmus made a couple of changes, mixing up the entire front row as the Boks go in search of victory against the Pumas. Prop Sendai, the Beast Mtawarira, and Trevor Nyakane and hooker Bongi Mbonambi have been promoted, with Steven Kitsoff, Franz Malherbe and hooker Malcolm Marks benched. The changes for the Salta test are a continuation of a rotational system and will see Mtawarira join Brian Habana on 53 appearances and the most kept Springboks in the Rugby Championships as he lines up tonight. Kickoff is at 20:10 SA time. For Newzroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Tumi Khaswe in Johannesburg.
Now, after their win last week, well, that other week against the All Blacks, rather a draw, felt like a win anyway, out at the Cake Tin. The Springboks will feel like going to the World Cup in Japan in September. They can actually get one over their bitter rivals, the All Blacks. We know how difficult it is to beat the #1 team in the world, the defending champions. But let me tell you something, our first game of the World Cup is against the All Blacks. But having beaten them last year at the Cake Tin and also getting a draw this year, you sort of feel like the Springboks can, you know, do it against the All Blacks. We'll see what happens in September. But also tonight, the Rugby Championship title is on the line. It's been a few years since we won it, so winning it will give us a great deal of confidence going to the World Cup. Tennis now. Serena Williams is through to the Rogers Cup semi-final with a straight sets win over Naomi Osaka. The 37-year-old beat Osaka 6-3, 6-4 to book a matchup against qualifier Mari Buzkova. On the men's side, top seed Rafael Nadal beat Fabio Fognini 2-6, 6-1, 6-2 to keep his title defense alive at the tournament. Nadal will face either Gael Monfils or Roberto Bautista Agut, whose match was suspended due to rain. Who remembers that US Open final last year when Serena Williams actually faced Naomi Osaka, and Serena was actually complaining about the umpire. There was drama. Naomi Osaka did win that. Serena's still chasing that record equaling 24th Grand Slam title, but she made headlines for all of that happened there, and you sort of felt for Naomi Osaka for being the winner but not being the headline of the story. So it's always spicy when these two meet up, or at least we, the fans, would like it to be spicy when they meet up. Serena Williams is a legend, of course. She has nothing to prove to anyone, while Naomi Osaka is at the exact opposite end of the scale. She's just starting out, and she's already got 2 major titles under her belt. Remember, after winning the US Open, she went on to win the Australian Open. So great tennis talent on the rise there in the form of a Japanese Naomi Osaka. And here's a fun fact about Naomi Osaka. She's actually from Osaka, Japan. Now, let's talk about other news. World Cup winner Jofra Archer is in line to make his test debut next week after being included in England's 12-man squad for the second Ashes test against Australia at Lord's. Archer could replace James Anderson after England's all-time leading wicket-taker was ruled out with a calf injury. Meanwhile, all-rounder Muin Ali has been left out after making only 4 runs in 2 innings at Edgbaston. His exclusion means left-hander Jack Leach will likely take over the team's spin bowling duties. The second test gets underway on Wednesday. I always say that the Ashes always end somebody's career, and the first test has just passed. We'll see what happens. Jofra Archer is certainly a great talent. We saw him at the World Cup taking wicket upon wicket and actually bowled that last over that gave England that trophy, their first trophy at the world stage. So good for him, and we'll see how he does in test cricket. He's certainly a great talent. James Anderson, just like Serena Williams, is a legend. He actually has a stand named after him as England all-time leading wicket taker when it comes to test matches. So we'll see what happens there. Well, we're going to take a short break, but a little bit later in the show as well, we're going to have a young 8-year-old chess champion. Imagine that. And I've been brushing up on my skills. I wonder if I can actually take her on to see if I can nick a win. Would be embarrassing to be beaten by an 8-year-old on national television. We'll see what happens. We take a short break. We come back with Babalwa Lacha as well as her coach, the Springbok women, who actually beat Uganda yesterday by a massive 89-5 scoreline in their first game of the World Cup qualifiers. Remember, the World Cup for women in 2021 will be held in New Zealand. We're talking to them shortly after this. Stay with us. All right, I did say before the break that I will be joined by the Springboks women team. Well, by team, I mean the team captain as well as the coach. And they are joining me here live in our studios. They actually broke camp. The coach says to me, I don't know about breaking camp, more like sleeping. You need to sleep, coach, after that massive win yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Coach Stanley Robbenheimer as well as the captain, Babalwa Lacha. Thank you so much for joining us. Coach, let me start with you.
Yes.
89-5, does that even happen? Well, it happened, but...
Look, it was good. A lot of the things that we've talked about came to fruition, so I'm pleased with that. It's obviously some things that didn't work out well, and it's good that there's some things to work on also. There's always going to be something to work on, so I'm happy.
There's something to work on after you hammer people 89-5.
Look, in our industry, you're never satisfied. There's always stuff that we could have done better in the match. But yeah, as you said, after a scoreline like that, it's very difficult to be dissatisfied with the performance. So in general, I'm satisfied. I'm not happy. So satisfied at this point in time.
Yeah, I think you're just saying that because the player is here. You don't want them to get complacent. Babalwa, let me come to you from a player's perspective. Obviously, he looks at it differently, being the coach. I need to improve here, I need to improve here. But you guys... First of all, did you party long into the night?
Not at all. Not at all. We have a job to do. So the partying will come at a later stage once we hopefully
after the qualifying.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did you celebrate in any kind of way?
Yeah, we were quite happy about the result. Everyone was in high spirits after that. But we just, of course, we had to savor that moment at the time and put it aside and focus on the next hurdle. Yeah,
they say you need to celebrate every milestone on your road to success. You can't just wait to celebrate the overall thing. Every little thing counts. But coming to you, tell us about you. Where are you from?
I was actually born in Cape Town, in a township called Khayelitsha. Grew up there for most of my life. But I finished my matric in the Eastern Cape, came back again and went to varsity at the University of the Western Cape, completed my LLB studies there, and here I am now.
Here you are now, and I'm glad you said that because you are the captain of the national team, and you haven't been in the team for long. I mean that like just a couple of years you've been in the team, right? And you, last year, was it last year that you guys went on that UK tour and you were vice captain, co-vice captain, and now you're here. That journey, it happened in a very short space of time for you. Tell us about that.
Up until now, I think it's been, quite a beautiful journey for me personally. I think a lot has happened over a short period of time. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to, sit here today and as the captain of the Springbok women. I think that, a lot of the hard work that we have put in as a team and I have put into myself has sort of paid off over the past 2-3 years.
Coach, when you look at where the journey started, when you guys in 2017 came back into competition up until now, 2 years later, would you say the progress that the team looked at in the beginning is there? There's that maybe you're not there yet, but you're certainly on your way there.
Yeah. Firstly, before I answer that, they had a bit of a celebration. They were allowed.
That's what I want to hear. I want to know what happened.
Yeah. They were allowed to have some sweets, which they're normally not allowed to have. So that was a celebration last night.
No.
Behind the scenes, I don't know what happened. So I rather don't want to go there.
Yeah.
It's best for
you
me
don't
not
know
to
who
know.
Left their room.
I don't know who left their room, but they were allowed to be a bit loose last night.
Yeah.
So, but we want to respect the competition.
Yes.
I think that's important. As Bibi just mentioned, it's about, we only won one match yesterday.
Yeah.
It's about the whole tournament and how to do that. But to answer your question, there's definitely... look, I only came in 2018. I was appointed as a head coach for this team. And one of the immediate things that I thought we need to get right, and you can ask her also, is basically to look at the conditioning aspect of women's rugby players in South Africa. So that was a bit of a concern for me. So when we had camps, when players arrived, there was always injuries and there was always lack of conditioning and things like that. That has improved. I must say I'm happy with that. There's still one or two issues there that needs to work on, but through various government interventions, our own women's department that is run by Mr. Puzi, a lot of effort has been put in there to work on the individual athlete at their various centers at home and not bring them every time into camp. So that for me is the first thing that we need to get right. And it's pleasing to see the team playing for 80 minutes at a very high intensity. And I'm still not happy with that, but it's a step in the right direction.
In keeping with what the coach is saying here, Bibi, we've constantly spoken about the issue of, in football, banyana. Not having the reason there's unfitness, there's, all of that is because they don't have a proper structure in which they play week in, week out. And when they have to come together now as Banyana and go to the World Cup, people are shocked that they get out in the round robin in the first round. Meanwhile, they're competing with players that have leagues, professional leagues, and they constantly play high intensity matches. What happens on the side of rugby for you guys here at home? I know you're Western Province, so is that across the board, or are there players that are struggling for something like that?
I think it is across the country. You have an interprovincial league where women from all over the provinces play for the IPL. Lower than that, we have the club level. So there's a lot of competition going on apart from the interprovincial section and also apart from the Springbok women's section. So there are quite we do have a set structure of women's rugby in our country where a lot more girls are playing more often, which then exposes them to the game a lot more. by doing so, almost preventing the shock once one gets, to this level. But of course, we do get assistance in terms of assisting individual athletes, with their conditioning and so on, so that when they do get the chance, to play in the Springbok women's team, they're on the level that is required.
But where are they? I hear you say there's competition and all of that. Where is it? We don't see it. We don't know about it. Is that part of the problem? The media side of things?
Of course, perhaps we would like to have a lot more, exposure in that regard. But, I think that, there are massive strides that we've made since the inception of women's rugby in South Africa. Today we get to, feature on various, media platforms, which was something that had never happened in the past. So I think that it's a constant, progress. It's a constant improvement towards the ultimate goal of having, a full stream or full broadcast of women's sport and women's rugby, in the whole of South Africa.
It's something that actually bothers a lot of us, that we don't see enough support for women's sport in the country, whether it's from a corporate side of things, sponsorships and everything, or even from the associations, the unions themselves, Coach. It's a bit of a problem, would you agree?
Most definitely, but we've got a different view on things like that. South African business, supporters, whatever you want to call, we're a funny bunch. We want to support winners only, but winning is a process, and it takes time to ultimately get to winning. So our approach is first to do the job. I think Banyana showed it. Once they qualified, everyone wanted to jump on.
They showed it's possible.
They showed it's possible. They actually needed more support. Like all women's sport needs more support. But people want to see and want to be associated with a winning team. Our job is to do that first. And hopefully the rest will kick into place. I know it's exposure and marketing I know those things. But sometimes, just maybe sometimes, you have to back a horse, hoping that
that has potential, back potential, instead of only just going for the winner.
Exactly. And I understand that. It's understandable. I understand the corporate business. I understand it's tight out there financially. But just as tight as it's for them, I mean, you got people like Babalwa and 90% of our players that's got nothing. And I mean nothing. They stay in the township. They have to, everything that they do on their own. Sometimes some of my players goes to bed without eating. But they sacrifice for this game so much that sometimes I can't understand why they play this game. Why do they sacrifice so much? But it's all for the passion, for the love to inspire other people, to inspire their community. And that's a driving force for me ultimately, is just to assist and help them, being like our nickname is a diamond, so that can shine, that they can be diamonds that can shine right where they are.
Okay, Coach, the first step of shining would be to qualify for this upcoming World Cup. And on Tuesday, you face Madagascar. Surely we're expecting 100 million.
Look, it will not be lack of trying. So I've told them last night, there's obviously now a big target on our back, but we must embrace it.
Yeah.
And we mustn't be scared of saying, yes, we can do that. We will definitely go out and give our best shot. So if it comes to that, great. If it doesn't come to that, it's not a problem. As long as we execute the stuff that we are talking about behind closed door.
Yeah. Okay. Babalwa, after Madagascar, it's Kenya. And only the top T after that will be able to go to New Zealand. Are you guys even talking about it, or are you just we'll see next game? But are you actually talking about New Zealand?
Look, for now we're taking it one game at a time. But at the back of our minds, that is the ultimate dream. I mean, to represent your nation at the world's biggest stage is any athlete's dream, really. So this is just, I think this is the ladder that we need to climb, you know, to reach the final top where we can actually, you know, go to New Zealand to not just, you know, participate, but actually compete, you know, against the best in the world.
Not be there to add up the numbers. You're going there to compete. But we trust you, Coach. After that performance yesterday, we were watching it here in studio and we're like, oh, okay. Yeah. This makes up for a nice interview tomorrow. Thank you so much to captain of the Springboks women national team, Babala Lacha, as well as Coach Stanley Robbenheimer. Thank you so much for joining us. And we wish you all the best of luck in the qualifiers, first of all. And we know you will go to New Zealand and represent the country. Thank you so much and good luck.
Thanks, Benji.
That's Coach Stanley and Captain Babala joining us here in studio. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we look at stories making headlines in as far as the continent is concerned, as well as talk to a woman cricketer. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Sport On. You can actually talk to us via social media. It is hashtag Sport On, as well as following us on Twitter. It is at SportOn405. That's where you'll find everything that is happening with regards to sport from now up until next week and the week after and the week after that. But for now, remember, a little bit later, we still have Mine Mia that is joining us here in studio, and she is a chess player, 8-year-old, and she's a national champion, guys. And I'm not too sure about my skills, but we'll see what happens there. Before we go to our next chat, though, let's take a look at what has been happening in as far as Africa is concerned and the news that are filtering through, or news that is filtering through in as far as Africa is concerned. And we're going to start with Didier Drogba. Remember him, former Chelsea, Marseille, and he also played in Turkey. He is a legend when it comes to Chelsea Football Club, as well as the Elephants of Ivory Coast. And he is actually considering running for president of the Football Association in the Ivory Coast. And we say this all the time. We need former footballers or former players to be running and eventually be the president or be chairman or something, be in the administrative positions, because they know best what happens with the players and they'll actually put the players' interest first. We know it hasn't been all too good when it comes to former players wanting to join administrative side. You'll remember that Luis Figo at some point wanted to run for the FIFA presidency. It didn't work out too well. And then the most infamous case of a player, a legend, is Michel Platini. He used to be a player and he played for Le Bleu of France, but he is now the disgraced Michel Platini. So it doesn't always go all too well, but we wish Didier Drogba all the best. The elections are in November, and we actually hope he goes through with it and becomes the president of the Ivory Coast FA. And we're gonna move on now to a story that I know will interest you because it talks about money. Well, Nicolas Pepe, another Ivory Coast player, has just joined Arsenal, and he has joined Arsenal for a whopping $89 million. How much do you have? You know how I want you to sit down for this. This equates to 1.3 billion rand, and that's how much Arsenal value this player and have bought him for that much amount of money. And looking at other players that are expensive in as far as Africa is concerned, the top 5, Cedric Bakambu, he moved from Villarreal to Beijing Goan for $79 million. We have Riyad Mahrez, who moved from Leicester City not too long ago to Manchester City for $72 million. And you can sort of expect Riyad Mahrez to be that expensive. Remember, he was a part of that Leicester team that had a freak season where they won the Premier League and nobody knew where they came from. And everybody wanted a piece of their players. Your Jamie Vardy's, your Riyad Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante actually moved to Chelsea straight after that Premier League win. And of course, there's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang that moved from Borussia Dortmund in Germany, and he moved for $68 million to Arsenal as well. And of course, Naby Keita, another African star, moving from RB Leipzig in Germany to Liverpool for $64 million. Guys, this is a lot of money for a pair of legs, but this is a pair of legs that can actually do the job. Well, moving to our last African story, Esperance and Wydad Casablanca played the final of the Champions League a few months ago. Now, Wydad Casablanca from Morocco were not too happy about the refereeing and the VAR. And remember, we always thought VAR is going to bring us problems. We never thought that the absence of VAR will actually be the one bringing us problems, because Wydad Casablanca complained there was a decision they didn't like. They said, ref, look at VAR. Ref said, there's no VAR, because we were promised that there will be VAR in the final of the Champions League. And then it turned out, listen to this, they said to us that the company that makes VAR said they had problems with the system for that day, so they couldn't bring it for that day. But now it created issues where Wydad Casablanca staged a walkout in the second leg of the final, and at that time Esperance was leading, and they didn't like this. CAF said, hey, Esperance did not win and everything, but now it has been concluded. The Court of Arbitration for Sport has settled it that Esperance de Tunis are the champions of Africa, and that settles it. We are happy that sanity has finally prevailed. Now, let's move on to cricket and talk about what happened in the CSA briefing this week. The CEO, Thabang Moure, talked to journalists in Johannesburg. Our cameras were there.
Cricket South Africa CEO Thabang Moure says he suggested to the CSA board that Otis Gibson's contract be extended until 2021. It was dependent on the coach agreeing to certain amendments in his contract. After the annual awards ceremony, the bombshell was dropped that Gibson and his coaching staff would not be continuing in the future, while it was also revealed that Corey van Zyl had been appointed as the acting director of cricket.
I basically went to the board. I first spoke with Otis, and I said to Otis, I would like to suggest that the board have a look at your contract and with a possible extension. And then Otis responded by saying that he would more or less look at being employed until probably 2021, and that's what I should suggest to the board rather. I did suggest that to the board. The board deliberated on that, and part of the board agreeing, or what the board essentially said to me, let me rather quote what was said to me verbatim, was, we are agreeing that you can go ahead as CEO and extend the coach's contract subject to him agreeing to key specific pointers in his contract changing. Part of that being EPG, part of that being communication, part of that being performance.
Moure was also quick to squash rumors that current Lions head coach Enoch Nkwe, who won the Domestic Coach of the Year award, would take over as interim head coach.
I can't confirm as yet because I haven't had an opportunity to sit with Corey as yet. That information is supposed to come to me either today or tomorrow, so I can't confirm as yet.
Van Zyl confirmed that Faf du Plessis will continue in his role as test captain for the tour of India next month, but a new captain for limited overs cricket is expected to be announced soon.
I think it's important to also note what, look forward as well. We're also looking forward to 2023. We need a strategy to 2023. So in terms of appointing the captain, we will look at how we approach that. But we are having a selection meeting in the next day and a half to confirm that. But to answer your question, is Faf going to be the captain? Faf will be the captain of the test team, and then we will talk about the white ball cricket strategy to 2023 and how that affects decision making.
The sacking of Otis Gibson from his job as head coach of the Proteas has been somewhat clarified by the CSA management, but their explanations are gaping with holes. But one thing is for certain is that CSA and the Proteas are set to venture into uncharted territory in the near future. For Newzroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Pilasanda Siqaba at the CSA headquarters in Melrose.
Big thank you to Pilasanda Siqaba there, doing a great job at the Cricket South Africa briefing that happened earlier this week. And I'm joined by a cricketer now in studio in Tumi Sikukune. Thank you so much for joining us here, Tumi. First of all, what do you think about the structural changes that are coming through? The CEO spoke there that the role of the coach is going to be dissolved and everything. Is there anything that favors women's cricket that you picked up from the CEO this week?
Well, no, actually, I think both men and ladies' crickets are actually the same now. The ladies' crickets are moving towards the right direction, and also, again, I think they also are pushing us to have the same salary as the men, and I think. And I think as well that's a great opportunity for young girls also that are also coming up that want to play cricket and that want to make cricket their career. So I think ladies cricket now is moving towards the right direction.
That's an important one. Hey? The salary difference between not just cricket but men's sport as well as women's sport. But now let's talk about you. You're talking about young girls that want to come up and play cricket. You started playing cricket.
Yes, I started playing cricket when I was 7 with my brothers, and I just fell in love with the sport, and I was very passionate and dedicated to do well.
But where do you play cricket? To me, like, because here's what I always ask: you just get a ball to play if you like sport, and cricket is a whole different thing. You need to get a lot of things to play cricket.
Yes, I think we didn't have a lot of facilities there, and we played at the tennis courts, and I think that the tennis courts actually made me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we used the tennis courts to our own advantage, and because we were also dedicated and we loved the sport, so we actually made everything work for us.
And this is when you moved into mini cricket.
Yes. Yes, I started playing mini cricket, and I think the love for cricket and the passion for cricket, because I think, well, the coaches actually are dedicated to bring us up and also make us the best in what we love and what we do. And I think we need to recognize that, and we need to appreciate the coaches that were being there for us and developed us. And I think that's a great initiative to do.
One interesting fact for me about you, Tumi, is that it was only at the age of 16 that you made the move to playing with girls.
Yes.
You always one-upped these boys from the age of 7 up until 16.
Yeah, I think, well, the boys cricket is also fun.
Yeah.
And I just love how they have fun and laughter and joy and, you know, the energy. And I think that also gave me the courage to do what they were doing as well. And I think when I went back to cricket at the age of 16, I didn't know that there were like.
No, what do you mean
cricket.
went back?
I stopped playing cricket at the age of 12. I don't know.
At
because
12?
Yes, at the age of 12, because I didn't think that there were ladies cricket around. And then when I went back when I was 16, there's a gift. Kaka said to me, "You must come to the trials," and the next day I just got picked, and yeah.
Who told you there's no women's cricket?
I didn't know. They didn't feed us much information because that it's as the same as we didn't have facilities. We didn't know about these things, and I think. Well, for me, I also didn't ask because I was also enjoying playing with the boys. So I think when I realized that, and when they told me that there's girls' cricket, I think that's when I was like, no, you know what? I think this is for me, and I need to pursue that.
Okay, we're flat out of time, but there's one thing I cannot push in here. You play for the Proteas now, and you've played about 10 ODIs, 14 T20s, and you're an award winner already.
Yes.
The CSA awards that were held last week.
Yes, I think I actually appreciate, and I'm very excited for the journey that I'm about to go, because they saw talent in the passion and the hardworking person that I am, and also I think it paid off, and I'm very excited to be the national, actually to be well known internationally for the newcomer of the year. So that's great.
International newcomer of the year. That is Dumisi Kukune. Stand up, Vuta Davidson. Your girl is doing great things, and we wish you all the best going forward with your cricket, with the national team as well. Thank you so much for coming to studio.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we take a short break. When we come back, Minentle. I'm actually shaking in my boots when I think of Minentle Mia, against whom I'm going to be playing chess. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Sport On, and I promised you that I'm going to be playing chess, and I'm going to be playing chess with an 8-year-old, and Minentle Mia is here with us in studio, as well as her coach, Mr. Israel. Thank you so much for being with us here in studio. I'm going to try and set up the board. I hope I still remember while I talk to you guys. Minentle, first of all, how are you?
I'm fine.
You're fine? Where are you from? Where's home? Where do you stay?
Gauteng, Kutsong.
You stay in Kutsong?
Yes.
What's your school?
Hlangabeza Primary School.
Yeah?
Hlangabeza Primary
Hlangabeza.
School. Yes.
Okay. Uqalile ngodlala chess?
Go grade 2.
Go grade 2?
Eh.
And then you utsibile jwang go kgona ho dlala chess?
Ke rutile ke praise. After ka tshameka le batho ba thafo. After that, ka ba thafo le nna.
Yeah. And then ho tloha moo ba o bona sekolong wa qala wa kena di competition?
Yes.
Okay. Coach Israel.
Yes, sir.
How did this start? I'm amazed that she's only 8, but she does amazing things. She's a champion, and she actually plays with people that are older than her.
Yeah, at this level, you know, we are even surprised somehow of where she is now, because when she started, she's now the opposite of when she started, you know.
Yeah.
When she started, she wasn't that interested, and everything changed the minute she won her first tournament.
Yeah.
Now she started being dedicated, and you know, I think it's that thing of winning.
Yeah.
She discovered she likes winning. I don't know. And then
winning is nice. Eh? And even as an 8-year-old, but how do you make sure that an 8-year-old stays focused? I mean, chess needs focus, and you need discipline and dedication for you to be as good as she is. Even if you have the talent, but you also need discipline. How do you make sure that she stays that way, and also balancing it with her playing time? I mean, she needs to play like other kids.
That's where the challenge is, because some of her chess mates, they are of her age, and you know, with them, playing is the first thing. But now, it's a challenge. I always have to remind her to say, you are playing at a different level.
Yeah.
You are far ahead of this guy. So we would focus, play. I'll work with her, and then it's like 10 minutes, and then when she sees them, she wants to go play with them. When they work outside, she also wants to walk out. You know, there are incidents where I was busy working with her. We are playing a tough game. Suddenly she starts losing, and I'm like, no, you can't make this move. Only to realize that she saw her friends going out. Now she wants to go out and go play with them. And I'm like, hey, they are here, you are there. So it's that thing of balancing, because with them, they need to play. They need to run around outside, and with her, you need to keep reminding her of the gold. This is where we want to go. And
Wena Minentle o batla ho etsang how dlala chess o batla ho etsang in the future o batla ipona o le kae? O batla o lo dlala Europe o dlale le bana ba bang all over the world. Yeah? Obviously, she's a bit shy. but coach, obviously she's a bit shy. But I'm gonna try and do what she knows best with her. Minent, hanze ki bua le coach. Wena tlo, ha re dlala. Tlo. Okay, coach. So, what has she won?
She has won a number of things, you know.
Tsaka di sharp. Okay.
Yeah, the latest, some of the major achievements has been she won the Gauteng Schools Female Player of the Year. She has won it at the district level also. She has won, she came with a gold and a silver at 2 major tournaments.
Yeah.
She has now qualified to go overseas to play chess. She'll be representing the country in China and later in Namibia. So she has been doing well, you know, even if I say so.
You're the coach.
Even if I'm the coach.
You're the coach. You have to say this. Like about Lauteba, coach, in the township that you guys are from, is there any formal structure of what you guys do, or is it just Wenale Minentle aside just coaching her? You saw the talent, the passion, and you decided to I'm gonna groom this one.
Yeah, the thing is, I have a lot of players in my area, so and they were doing well, so that pushed me to say, let's start something. So as we speak, we have a chess club, which is Kuzon Chess Club. She's wearing the attire now. That is our formal structure that we have now.
Yeah.
And we are also busy with the West End. But for now, she plays for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Yeah.
There. So, yeah, we are trying to push chess as far as possible in the township. The only drawback is these kids, they become good, but in terms of resources, that's where the problem is.
So when le batla ho bona le fumane support in what way? Since the resources are a bit of a problem, so what needs to happen for you guys to be at a position where you can go anywhere? Because I imagine she has to travel a lot, and it's not always easy.
It's not. She has to travel a lot. So the only drawback that we have now is the finances. If we have enough money to take her through all these competitions, we would be happy. And mind you, she's not the only one. It's a lot of them, and some of them don't even afford to go to these tournaments because of the finances.
Yeah.
So if we had that sorted out, you know, we would surprise a lot of the people. Like last year, we took some of the kids to the junior nationals. We came back as champions, and we are hoping we can also manage to do that this year still, and you know, bring back the glory.
Yeah. Okay.
Talent is there.
Minentle, so we're now shebile. This is le dlala ka nako. We ale dlala ko di competition le dlala ka a time ane.
Yes.
So we now o shape batho ba baholo we. Okay, nna note, where are we? Are you beating me, or how do you see it?
Who's winning?
One sharp. Kima una note. No, but I have your knight here. Do you have my knight? Yeah, no, that night, where did it come from? Guys, one cheat, Minente, one cheat. Thank you so much, Coach Israel, as well as Minente from Kutong out in the West Rand. And this is the evidence. We didn't lie when we said she's a champion. This is the evidence. She's been winning. She's been winning. But thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. You've got a bright future ahead of you. Thank you so much for coming through, Coach. Hopefully, someone heard you and heard your cries and will be able to help you.
No, thank you. We'll be grateful for that, and that's the opportunity that we like to give to these township kids. Where there's talent, if there's financial backing, then they start believing we can do it, and they can.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's Coach Israel as well as Minent. And that's where we leave it for this afternoon. And we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with the Springboks hopefully having won the Rugby Championship already. My name is Benjamin Leshoro. And we'll see you again tomorrow as I continue to beat Minent. Goodbye.